Um, Hello, welcome back, guys. Still sick here, but trying to get better. Trying to get better, baby. We've got some levels finally. It's been a while, but finally got some levels. Welcome to the stream. What is it today? Saturday? Happy Saturday, guys. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. 20 endurance. Trying to think what else I need. We're gonna need faith. What's up, Foodie? Welcome. How you doing, man? Welcome to the Stramboli, baby. How's life? How are things, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Happy Saturday. Like I said, I just came back. I've been not really been able to stream for the last 2 weeks because of severe illness. So I'm back for a little bit. I don't know how long I can stream today, but I'll go as long as I can. If you don't know what the run is, this is what do you call it? All achievements, Deathless, Dark Souls 1 is what it is. Something kind of it's a hard run. It ain't too bad, but it's still pretty hard. Welcome to the stream, anyways. So, get her done. What's up, Rob? Welcome. Darvin, welcome. Michael, welcome. Bless you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're having a blessed weekend so far. Hope life is good, my friends. What you got going on this weekend, guys? I'm still getting over my pneumonia, which is pretty bad. So hopefully that goes away soon, man, because it's been rough. Pneumonia sucks pretty badly. As well as I hope you're the best with everything going on. Thanks, man. You bought Ghost of Yotai? It doesn't drop until next month, right? I'm not wrong there because I see a lot of people posting pictures and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be out yet, correct? How have I been? I've been sick, man, for 2 or 3 weeks. 3 weeks, technically. 2 weeks, I got worse. So, I've been out of the hospital for the last 2 weeks. So I'm pretty excited not to be in the hospital right now. Honestly. Oh yeah, I've been sick, man. What's up, Adam? Welcome. How you doing, buddy? Been sicky, 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 sicky. You know. But luckily, like I said, I got out of the hospital Wednesday. Finally, around Wednesday, Tuesday, around there, which I'm kind of grateful for. I'm feeling okay, man. I'm still getting better. So it's gonna take me a while to recoup, unfortunately. That's why we're only running a little bit at a time until I get better. My breathing isn't exactly where it needs to be either, so just taking our time, getting back to where we need to be. Yeah. What's up, Sammy? How you doing, girl? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, that was pretty rough. It was a rough 2 weeks for sure. 4 days, 9 hours, and 51 minutes. Oh, that's. I mean, at least I know that because I've seen a lot of people posting like title screen pictures and all this stuff. It's like I know this game hasn't come out yet. You know what I mean? The review copies, I'm pretty sure, do exist though for the press and all that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss the train. You know what I mean? It's kind of what it is. And the reviews on it look pretty good. So but yeah, it's gonna take me a while. I gotta go get my imagery done. From what Jane says, it shouldn't be that bad. I had an object or like some kind of like fog in my lung. I have to go get an X-ray to see if it went away with the pneumonia. I'm still not over the pneumonia, so it'll take a while for me to even be at that point where I can actually get the imagery done. So this is Dark Souls 1, yes sir. Silent Hill F looks great. Yeah, I just don't have money for it, bro. It does look pretty okay though. You're not wrong. You know, I just don't have the money to buy both that and Ghost of Yotai, which is $70. If you catch my drift, that's kind of the only reason why I'm not buying F. From the hospital X-ray, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Amid. Still on Night Rain grind. I was kind of over Night Rain somewhat. Like I still play with Sammy. I haven't had a chance to play with Sammy recently because I've been really sick. but I'm not really as into Night Rain as I used to be. I'm actually not as into video games as I used to be. I know that's kind of like a weird thing, sacrilegious, especially being a pro gamer. But about 3 weeks ago, I had a really life altering experience that changed me in a way that I can't necessarily describe. So I'm still going to be running games, still be running challenges, get to 500, make the video. We're doing 500 total Soulsborne Deathless runs. We were supposed to do 1,000, but I think I'm going to cap off at 500. And then I want to move on to some other stuff. I've decided in my own mentality it's time for a change. Things need to be different. I feel different about life in general, and I think it's time to move on. That being said, I will still continue to produce content and all this other stuff, but the same kind of content I'm not going to produce anymore. I sat down with my creator and had my discussions with this person and all that stuff, and I feel like my life could be better utilized for other things. So that's basically where we're at with it. Hope you. I'll say it. Night Rain is done for me. What do you mean it's done for you? You're not interested in it anymore? Yeah. I understand that. Gotta go where life takes you. I appreciate that. Yes, different games, different challenges. My pulmonary patients, ICU often get daily X-rays, especially a ventilator. They always do. Part of the job to keep tabs on those. Wish you had wish you much luck in your future endeavors. I want new classes, new bosses. Yeah. Well, they're supposed to be hinting at DLC. You know what I mean? They were talking about it a while ago for Night Rain. But the thing is, like I said, that's kind of where I'm going with this. I'm still gonna do extreme challenges. It's just not gonna be the same kind of extreme challenges after the 500. Um, I'm getting more into the physicality part of it. I want to do a couple of really intense runs, really long-winded runs, like a bunch of different types of runs. But ultimately, I'm gonna give myself to the point of basically being at the end of a certain period before I hang up streaming altogether. It doesn't mean that I won't continue to produce some kind of content via my page and my like literal, you know, existence as a professional Soulsborne streamer. I will continue to do so, but I'm gonna move on to another project. And I'm not gonna allude to what that project is, and I'm not gonna tell people where to follow me either. This is gonna be basically just the all-encompassing end of this stream. Um, with everything that's happened, and it's not to say I can't come back once in a while and do some stuff here and there, but don't plan on me basically only doing this. So I got 2 years though, 2 years before technical retirement exists. So you guys will still see 2 years worth of content from me at least before I decide to retire completely. But the challenges are going to be different. The focus of the games is going to be different. The focus of the challenge is going to be different. The focus of the page is going to be different. So we'd order X-rays if we had worsening patients, but it didn't. Some Pedoza, welcome. You didn't even wait for the doctor's orders. We're literally here for you. Can play Minecraft. I'm never playing Minecraft. Two games I'm never playing: Minecraft and Roblox are the two games I'm never playing. Oh, we fucked that up. So I'm actually surprised you stuck with streaming this long. This chapter of our lives uh compel us to evolve. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, because I'm getting more into podcasting. It's kind of my thing, man. You know, like that's the thing about it. I know that my script has always been a secular one here. You know, I've always been very, specific about being secular and being like anti-political and stuff like that. And my next endeavor isn't gonna afford that outlook. It's not. I'm at a point in my life where I have something to say and I'm gonna say it. And that's why I'm not gonna involve this stream with the next juncture of my existence as a content creator. I'm gonna leave this where it's at, so it's always a standing like secular vision of neutrality. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna talk about it at all. I mean, if you find me, you find me. If you don't, you don't, man. You know. What's up, Geenan? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for the good vibes, dude. I was not feeling well. Hmm. Feeling pretty good. What's up, Sammy? What's going on, lady? Yeah, DLC needs to come out for that game, honestly. After you sell your house, perhaps, maybe. Perhaps. Your new hidden club. It won't be anything like I'm doing now, man. It's not going to be anything like that. It's mostly going to be podcasting, like I said. Pretty much. Maybe a video here and there, but that's pretty much it. And that's the thing about it. Like, most of my focus won't be on this anymore. I will give you some hint, though. A lot of my focus is going to be on physical stuff. When I say this, the reason why I say this for the last 3.5 years, I've thought about what I wanted to do, and this illness that came out of me was like kind of a godsend. Somewhat. I know that sounds weird, but kind of a godsend to me because what's going to happen is that after I get better, I'm going to start focusing on my long distance training. I want to get into long distance running, and I want to do ultras. So I'm going to start getting into ultras, and that might actually become part of my challenge at some point. Is ultras? You know what I mean? Because I have a goal in mind where I want to play. I want to play through the series and run 100 miles on a treadmill at the same time. Stuff like that. I'm gonna get very physically involved with the stream before I leave, basically. So I want to get into ultra runnings like 100 one a days, San Diego stuff, um, just a lot of ultra stuff. So ultra marathons, man. What races that are longer than 100 miles, specifically? What's up, Geronimo? Welcome, man. Finally got into completing the 5K. I would never dreamed of it. So I feel you on that. Yeah. Though, why do you think I'm doing it? Because I almost died in the hospital, Jose. I couldn't breathe. I almost died. It's like the third time in my life where I've almost died. Okay? I was literally on my deathbed in the hospital. And I couldn't breathe at all. And I quit fucking vaping because I couldn't vape because I couldn't fucking breathe, right? And it was my decision that if I was going to make it out of that hospital bed, I was going to start ultra running. And that's the goal. That's what's going to happen. Don't care what the cost is. Don't care how long it takes to get good at it. I'm going to do it. What's crazy, there's a 100-mile horse race that humans alone can't. Yeah, I believe it. I believe that's crazy. That sounds like a crazy. What's the name of the horse race? I bet there's several different ones, though, right? Not just one. Yep, I understand who does it. I already quit, Keenan. I quit 3 weeks ago, bro. Cold turkey, because I had no choice. Because if I was gonna smoke, I was gonna die. I already quit. I've been quit off it for like the last 3 weeks. I haven't puffed in 3 weeks, homie. I quit. Well, that's pretty badass, Foodie. That's a good inspiration, dude. Well, I didn't have a choice. It was either that or die. I was already dying in the bed, so I was having withdrawals, headaches. I had double ear infection, bronchitis, and then it turned into severe pneumonia that almost killed me. So there was no, I didn't have a choice. Basically, Jesus said, "Hey, boy, it's time for you to quit," and that's what happened. I quit. There you go. Quit all that shit. I quit caffeine too because I couldn't drink anything. Couldn't have any goddamn energy drinks while you were fucking on a table and shit, you know? So I quit a lot of shit. We shouldn't kill Smo first. Forgot about that. In Ornstein, sorry. Okay, he dead. He dead. Pokey pokey. I get your death experience 5 days ago. I was coming home from school, driving fast, 100. I don't know how much. Oh, mile per hour. Okay, crashed. My left leg's hand still bad. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. At least you came out of it okay. You know. Mm. Well, I have pneumonia as moved, so that's the reason why my breathing sucks. So if you're wondering why I'm breathing so hard, it's because basically I was on oxygen until about 2 days ago. You lost your bike. At least you're okay though, man. You know? That's all that matters, that you're alright. You walked away from it. Let's see. We have to go and talk to what's his face. Firelink Shrine probably be best. What's up, Caleb? How you doing, man? How's everybody doing? What games are you guys looking forward to? What are you guys looking forward to? Because we got some games coming out. Silent Hill F just came out. I watched Distortion play most of it. It looks okay. It doesn't look bad. Ghost of Yotai has some pretty high ratings right now. I'm not sure how good the game is, but it looks like it might live up to the hype somewhat, which looks pretty cool. Where the Winds Meet comes out soon, which is a free to play from China, which looks pretty good as well. You haven't played Liza P. Foodie? Yeah, you need to play that game. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I probably won't ever go back to it though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I beat it like 4 or 5 times, and I pretty much just have no inclination to go back to it at this point. It doesn't serve a purpose for me anymore. What's up, Patrick? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream, buddy. How you been, my friend? How's life? How are things, dude? Yeah, it's got pretty high ratings, man. Even the people that didn't want to play it gave it kind of somewhat high ratings. It's kind of funny, right, to think about. Yeah, to go to the hospital. Yeah, man. Hopefully you're okay. I was at the hospital too. I feel you, man. Hopefully you're all right. So what do we got here? Ring of Steel Protection might help. We need to go upstairs and talk to Dudo. What do I got here? I got this. This is too heavy. Black Iron set's probably best. Cause what is the golem? Yeah, stone's 10. We're gonna be fat though. It's fine. Can't really roll. I hate having to go to Spook House, man. Spook House is the worst. We need a spell from this dude. If we don't get it, then we kind of miss out. You know what I mean? Stung by wasps. Jesus, dude. That's not good. Could you stop, please? Thank you. Fell and hit your head on a forklift. Holy shit, dude. Did you fracture anything or break any part of your body, man? Damn, dude. That sucks. That's terrible, man. I'm sorry to hear that. It's pretty rough. Feeling better now. Stopped having headaches. My brain fog. So I think I'm out of concussion worry zone. Yeah, man, that's rough. Rattle your brain. Ripped your ear. So it's just superficial stuff. And like maybe some trauma in the brain. What do you think about the Wolverine? It looks pretty good, man. You know that? It looks pretty good. It looks violent. You know, it looks really violent. But it's definitely traditional Wolverine. Excuse me for a second, real quick. Yeah, it looks pretty well done. Um, it looks a little cheesy, but I think that's just because it's like beta or alpha or something. Other than that, it looks quite well done. So, there's high hopes for that game. I don't know if I'll ever end up playing it though, but I'm pretty sure most of the fans that have been waiting for Wolverine are pretty excited for it. Plus, the dudes that developed it developed pretty well-made games too, so I wouldn't be worried about it. Yeah, I watched the State of Play, man. There wasn't a lot on it though. There really wasn't much to watch on the State of Play. I don't know why anybody would try to hold up hope for Bloodborne remake, man. Like, come on, bro. A lot of people in there. Where's the Bloodborne? Just bring out Bloodborne. It's like, dude, Bloodborne ain't coming out, bro. We've already talked about this so many times. Like, Bloodborne ain't gonna happen, dude. You know what I mean? Everybody was just like, Bloodborne, Bloodborne, Bloodborne. Bloodborne ain't gonna happen. We've already talked about it, man. And then IGN be pushing all this stuff about the fake Bloodborne stuff all the time. And then, like, you even go in the articles, you know, you go into the actual links in the articles, and what it says is there's a mod now for Bloodborne where you can play it on your computer in first person. Like, you said Bloodborne update, bro, on the freaking click. This clickbait ass crap that IGN does. I'm sick of this crap, dude. I unfollowed. I actually blocked IGN somehow, right? Because I was sick of their clickbaity crap. Okay, I go on yesterday for the first time in a while on my Facebook. What do I see? IGN. I fucking blocked them. Excuse the language. I blocked them. I chose to consciously block this group of individuals because their articles are all clickbaity crap. You know what I mean? They're so full of it, and half of the people that review the games aren't even qualified to review a video game, and a lot of them are paid off by developers to make fake accusations and all kinds of different stuff about other video games, and of course false reviews of the video games they're getting paid for. You know what I mean? Like, why would you trust IGN anymore at this point? There's no like basis for half of the stuff they say. Most of the people that write the articles aren't gamers or gamer centric even. Yet somehow they still tend to be, the one holding the damn torch everybody reads. I don't understand it. There are plenty of gamers out there and game journalists that know how to play video games, that have valid, opinions of things, and they don't ever hire anybody that matters. They always hire these kids fresh out of school that don't play video games, and the only video games they play are like Mario Kart, and there's nothing wrong with Mario Kart. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Mario Kart, but all they play is Mario Kart. They won't understand other video games. That's why they end up like coining these phrases, right? Oh, it's a Souls-like. Oh, that's a Souls-like. Oh, this is a Souls-like. And like Wukong, for instance, Black Myth Wukong. Great game, fun action game, good time, good story, good art, like level design's amazing, combat's fun, right? It's not a Souls-like game at all, bro. Not at all. Not one iota of that game is a Souls-like game. It's an action game. But they'll be putting it out there, oh, this is a Souls-like game. That's a Souls-like game. And then they wonder why there's Souls-like fatigue. It's because of these people in the industry that do this. You know what I mean? They blame the companies for making specific types of video games, yet they're the ones producing like the false accusations about certain video games being a certain way or having certain genre attachments or whatever, when in reality they're the ones that perpetuate this shit. And it's not just with the gaming journalists, it's with all the journalists in the world, man. Honestly. You know? They create a false story that, of a story we've already read, just, partial, making it partial in certain places to create a story that doesn't exist. And then just perpetuate an idea, create some kind of reaction, whether it be rage or, people laughing or trolling or whatever. And this is how they make their money, through clickbait crap. And they're still on top. And no one holds them accountable. It doesn't matter who the hell they are or where they're from. Nobody. They can say whatever they want. It's the Wild West right now, news reporting. IGN is an actual joke. They haven't accurately rated a game at least 10. You're absolutely correct, man. Grimace, I agree with you. They haven't. And the thing is if they get lucky and a game developer pays them enough and the game's actually accurate to what they pay, because that's the case, man. They be throwing them dollar bills behind the back. Because like for instance, what is it? What is that one game? The last Dragon Age game. Everybody hated that game. I never played Dragon Age. I'm not a Dragon Age person. So I don't know what's missing, what's there, what's not there. I don't know any of that. So I can't give you an accurate portrayal of it, right? But, they were paid off. For sure, man. They were paid the fuck off. Because all the reviews, man, it bombed real bad. Granted, there's still some folks that actually quite like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But oh, yeah, I've heard, dude. Outlaws, I've never played it, but I've heard that. Exactly what you're just saying. I've heard that, yeah. That's not to say that some people don't enjoy those games, man, but the vast majority of individuals playing video games are kind of, they're burnt out on a lot of those scenarios. It's not even what's in the game. It's the way the game plays, dude, the loop and stuff, you know what I mean? Half of it is that problem. Especially in an open world loop. You know what I mean? Fetch quests and stuff like that, and seeker and finder missions and crap like that. People are sick of that stuff, dude. They don't want to be doing it anymore, They don't want to be doing that no more. It's tired. They need new concepts for open worlds and new concepts for action games, and you know what I mean? But a lot of the times the developers are too lazy to even finish a game completely. And that's another thing that really irritates me about it, is that these people can pay cash for an unfinished game to be, promoted in the first place. Like, oh yeah, well, it's gonna be done after the patch, after the first initial patch. It should have been finished before you bought the game. You know, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but Ubisoft. Look at Ubisoft, man. Bethesda. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You pay $70 for a video game of your hard-earned cash for entertainment for 60 hours plus, right? You could have spent that money on bills. You could have spent that money on food. You could have spent that money on any of that shit. And these people are basically just trying to screw you out of your wallet. It ain't fucking worth it, dude. You know? That's why I said I'm excited for Ghost of Yotai. I've been looking forward to it. I like Sucker Punch. I don't agree with everything that happened with Sucker Punch recently, but whatever. Don't care. Still like the games. But I'm also kind of worried because it's easy to pay people off, man. You know? It's easy to pay people off. Look at Starfield, man. That's a great example of a game that is total trash. Starfield is garbage, dude. And they're still trying to fix it. Like No Man's Sky came out how long ago, right? And granted, yeah, it was kind of a scam, but they fixed it. I don't think they're ever gonna finish Starfield, dude. Ever. You hear EA is trying to go private. I've seen somebody say that's a win. Then shareholders don't have a say on the IP. Well, I know like EA buys a lot of different like sub developers, right? So I mean, you can't really. It's kind of like Blizzard, man. They are the ones who come up with these unrealistic release dates. Yeah, no, I agree with you. The shareholders, I agree. Yeah, the ones that want more money out of the money they put into it, and that's understandable for an investor to want a return. I get that part of it, but it's like the amount of like reality and telling the truth, and like it's like something that's few and far in between because they want the cash. You know what I mean? They'll give people a fake date for the sake of saving face for the investor. And it's like you do realize that the quality is going to suffer. You're going to hurt the brand. You know, it's basic business. It's basic business. But that's why I said like Blizzard, for instance, that buys all these sub developers, or Ubisoft that buys all these sub developers, or you see what I'm saying? And it can all be absolved if you're an honest developer or publisher or whatever. That's why I say, like with FromSoft, this is one of the reasons why I respect FromSoft. I've said it in the past, but it's the truth. I respect FromSoft because they've never put out a game that hasn't been finished. I don't think I've ever played one of their games that's completely unfinished. Like even, and don't get me wrong, I like Cyberpunk, but that game was broken. Starfield was broken. Fucking Skyrim was broken. Fucking Fallout is still broken. You know? And they just expect the fans to fix the games. And at that point, too, remember how, like, snotty they were about it, too. They're like, yeah, you're going to fix our game. We're just going to put it out. You're going to enjoy it anyways. Instead of being like, hey, I'm sorry that we didn't produce what we said we were going to produce. We'll try to fix it for you. They were just so cocky about it. So casually cocky about it. You know what I mean? Disrespectful to the community that actually buys their shit in the first place, that has the cash that puts it in their pocket. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of that business shit, man. They don't respect the consumer. And like I said, because that's one of the reasons why I didn't buy the Lies of Peace. What do you call it? Shadow Drop DLC. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad or that that was the intention of the developer, because I don't really know. NeoWiz is pretty good. You know what I mean? NeoWiz isn't bad. They're pretty. That game is amazing. It's one of the most. It's probably one of my favorite Souls-like games ever. But the fact that the Shadow Drop hurt me because I had to pay bills and all this, and I couldn't afford to actually get the DLC because I had all my finances planned out a certain way. I don't make any money streaming. You guys know this, right? I don't do this for money. I do this because I enjoy my community and I love the challenge runs. You know what I mean? So to me, that's kind of an offensive thing, man. Like, I can't afford to be dropping $30, $40. Night Rain just came out. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be doing all that. And I'm not going to be doing all that. I'm going to buy it when I can buy it. That's pretty much it. That's why I like with Konami's Silent Hill F. And don't get me wrong, that's been out for a while and they had it all planned out. But then you gotta like go see Yotai. I'm not gonna play Silent Hill F. I don't have time for it. So I have to plan out my finances properly, so I can actually play video games. I think that's a normal thing for most adults in this world. Not everybody has $70 to drop on a video game. You got kids, bills, all kinds of shit. You know. And the fact is that they want to go to $120 a game. Granted, I'll probably play it for GTA 6 when it drops, but that shouldn't be the standard, man. It shouldn't be the standard. $120 a video game? Hell no, bro. That should not be the standard. I'm telling you right now, that is not nice. That is real bad. What's up, Isaiah? Welcome. What are you doing, man? There's supposed to be age verification on GTA 6. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Really? Age verification shit? I had no idea. $120 for a collector's edition with a bunch of cool shit, maybe. I agree with that one too. Um, it's extortionate, especially what they make on DLC is too much. Yup. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I keep coughing, guys. I still have pneumonia. I apologize. What's up, Otto? Welcome. What's up, Logan? How's it going, man? What did Jane say about Sucker Punch? I gotta look at what she said. I didn't see that. Remember Sucker Punch Drop Legends for free? Ghost says, oh, Tsushima. Yeah, see, because that's why I said I know I got my money's worth with Ghost of Tsushima. Because I remember the length of the game, the amount of like stuff you could do in game, the overall like experience of the game, plus the DLC was free. You know what I mean? And that was kind of worth the cash to me. Like I honestly believe that was worth the cash. You know what I mean? But if we're like doing that whole Game Pass thing that they used to do back in the day, it ain't worth it. No, it won't be a problem. We need more. So I got 22. We what? Need 8? No, but it was worth the money. Because if you think about it, Night Rain could have totally been a DLC. And I'm not talking shit about FromSoft. I love FromSoft. You know that already. But Night Rain could have just been a DLC. Realistically. Think about it. There's not enough content for it to be a standalone game. You know what I mean? But they did it that way anyways. Okay? I get why they did it that way, but I think if they would have done it the other way, Night Rain would have been more popular. I get what you're saying. I understand that reasoning. I understand that reasoning. It makes sense, dude. Yeah. That does make sense. No, we gotta farm eyes, which is gonna take a long time. This part takes forever. Oh, dude, we didn't free Fat Boy, did we? Hopefully, he's still able to be freed. Yeah, we need to go free Fat Boy first. Yeah, go see Yotai. I think it's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna spend a lot of time playing it. I'm gonna like actually take off the whole month and just play Yotai. I think I'm gonna do that. I'll play some horror games here and there, but I'm not gonna run Deathless stuff for like a whole month. November, it'll be no death November, which means we're gonna try to get to 500 no death runs of the Soulsborne series, and that'll be the end of that. Basically, at that point, we'll be at 500, and that'll be the end of that accomplishment, and I won't mess with it no more. I got a lot. done properly in the house. While you were off sick, we didn't get anything done in October. I don't blame you. Yeah, we're gonna run some deathless runs and Ghost of Yotai and stuff like that, and get better at the game. Do hitless boss fights, the whole nine. Just kind of absorb the whole game. I think it'll be a fun time. I just need one miracle from him, and it's Emit Force. And if I can't get it this NG, I can get it next NG. But still, it's better just to get it over with. So the last hurrah on my stream will be the 300-hour run. I'm not doing it anytime soon, so don't expect it to be within the next year or something. But in the next 2 years, I will actually run the 300-hour run. It'll be my last hurrah, my retirement run. That'll be my last final run as a Soulsborne streamer in the next 2 years. So be ready for that. Melissa, here is your reminder. I don't know if he's still here. A lot of people be using a VPN. Won't that slow the game down? Or is it would it be fine? It sucks getting paid, having to take care of your responsibilities, and then where's all my money? At least you got. I mean, that's the thing about it. There's no shame in that. You know, some people get mad about it, and it's. I mean, I guess it makes sense to kind of get mad about it. Realistically, though, you should find pride in the fact that you're taking care of your business. You know, and it's kind of, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's kind of petty to be mad because you don't have any money. As long as your bills are paid, it shouldn't matter. At least in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I would say that I'm grateful that my bills are paid. Am I rich? You don't need to be rich to have a good life. You just have to do the things that matter, you know? To me, nothing's more important than my family and my daughter. So if that means giving up something joyful that brings me joy, it also gives my life purpose. And I think you can have a happier life with purpose than you can with, you know, instant gratification. At least in my opinion. You know, you don't have to agree with me, but having purpose is more important than, you know, momentary enjoyment. So I'm prone to fall to the same stuff though. You know, I feel the same way you do though. I think it's normal. It's a human condition, dude. It's frustrating though. You know, it is frustrating. I think for everybody. Yeah, dude, that's a good way to look at it, and I'm proud of you for that. I know you don't need me to be proud of you, but I'm glad you're one of those people that's following that specific voice there. You know. Where did he go? He went behind me? Yeah, there he is. Thankfully, to be proud of me. Yeah, man. Good. It's a good feeling to get your shit together, isn't it? It is, man. You know, it's something nobody can take away from you either. It's weird that some people get excited about the prospect of trying to take away your joy, though, right? It's weird when people actually are happy for you in this day and age, and I think that should be a normal thing. You know, like we should all be happy for each other if we're doing something that's constructive. Of course, I'm not talking about doing something that's going to hurt you or the people you love or anything, but if it's constructive, we should be happy for each other. It's a good thing. Definitely nothing wrong with that. What's up, Oswaldo? How you doing, man? They say money don't buy happiness, but it sure makes life easier. No, you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. I agree with you there. I'm okay, man. Thanks for asking. How you doing, buddy? The Occult Club Sandwich, my favorite. Yeah, it's kind of cool, man. You know, like lifting people up and being lifted up yourself is a good feeling to it. I think we should do it more, at least in chat, stream, whatever, in life, you know? I'm not saying you have to, but it's kind of nice to do. You know, be proud of people that you normally don't even know, you know? Like, it's good shit. It's positive. It's a positive thing. How can you make Uchi Katana Fire of Chaos? So you'd have to get the Uchi, then you'd have to get the Chaos Ember, then you'd have to have 9 regular shards, and then you need 10 green shards, and then you'll need 7 red chunks and 1 slab. And you have to get to what's his name? The dude in the bottom of the catacombs. Give it to you. Okay, we got it. It's raining outside again. It's been raining for like 4 days, man. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right, so that's all done. We could probably go and get the last parts of this sword, so we can get a fully upgraded fire sword. Possibly. We still need to buy all the spells, though. We don't have them. We can either do that or we could go farm the rats, so we can get more Eyes of Death. There's a lot of stuff we still have to do. We still have to go back and farm enough for the spells. Yeah, you can farm for the chunks, man, yeah. One positive, you can have a snowball effect. Why not fundamentally change the world? Why it may not fundamentally change the world, it can cause others to do the same. I like that. That is a good way to look at it. That's very positive, man. And that can be purpose too. Like, I know it sounds weird, but that can be purpose. As silly as it sounds, it can be. Just to make somebody else's life a little bit easier here and there once in a while, you know? It ain't painful. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. You know? It's kind of nice. As long as you don't go out of your way to tell everybody how nice you are, of course. You know what I mean? You know which kind of person I'm talking about, right? Well, we were talking about that last time, was I think, you know, the false prophets and all that. Mr. Beast and how some people perceive Mr. Beast and all this. You know, yeah, that's kind of how you know the difference when somebody's going out of their way to make sure you know they're good. I'm a good person. Don't you know how good I am? Like it's like, damn, bro, calm down there. You're borderline in some really dark stuff, my friend. I did my last online exam last night. Took me an hour and a half, and it was 4-part essay. Wasn't expecting that. I was there like their multiple choice. What class was it for, dude? If you don't mind me asking. People that do it for clout, yeah. It's like if you're waiting for a reward, you're not doing it purposefully. You're doing it for the reward. you know, there's this really pretty girl, and she's really nice, and she works, you know, whatever Peace Corps or whatever. I want her to notice me and give me that, that done no 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 gok. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm real good. I'm a real nice guy. I did all this. Can I get the gok? I mean, come on, bro. That's dark. That's a lot of people though. That's a lot of people. And that's kind of normal. I mean, we are wired that way. Humans are wired that way. That's just part of being a human being, somewhat. But that's pretty dark. What's up, Dylan? Welcome. Thankful for being alive. Just glad you don't have to require pharmaceuticals of any kind of medical care to have a good quality of life. I know there are people worse off than me, but medical care, USA is outrageous. It is expensive. You're not wrong. Plant ID North American vegetation. Damn, dude. That sounds like an intense class, bro. I just got my simple little midterms class. Ain't nothing that crazy. Ain't nothing that crazy, bro. Excuse me, my friends. I'm sorry. We gotta change this. I gotta break this. It's fine. And then we gotta pop some of these humanity real quick. How many do I have? I only have 5. We gotta pop all 5. What's up, Gina? Welcome. How you doing, lady? How's the medical field, my lady? That's what I'm getting into. That's what I'm going to school for. Finally. It was weird going to the hospital and understanding most of what everybody was saying. It was really weird. I wasn't used to that. It was definitely a switch. A switcheroony. By the end of it, it's supposed to learn and know over 200 different plants, species, by their physical characteristics, common names, scientific names, along with knowing where they should grow. What field are you getting into? What is going to be your line of work? It's interesting. Mr. Beast BS. See what I'm saying? Either people really love Mr. Beast or they really hate Mr. Beast. Those are the two options there. Yeah, because if you think about like half of it, taxes, right? We've talked about this. I don't know. I don't know if you guys were on stream when we talked about The Price is Right. The Price is Right. I know you watch. I love The Price is Right, dude. I love me some Price is Right, especially Bob Barker era Price is Right, right? The problem with The Price is Right, though, I didn't know this until recently because somebody brought it to my attention. I think even on stream they did it, but is that when you win an award or some kind of like thing on Price is Right, you got to pay the taxes on that. You can either take the cash prize or you can pay the taxes and keep the vacation, the extra car, whatever you win on Price is Right. I didn't know this. I had no idea, my friends. I had no idea that was a thing for the longest time. And when I found that out, I realized how bad that is. Because if you're coming from a place where you ain't got no money, right? And let's say you even owe the IRS money already, that's really gonna hurt, bro. And that's kind of the thing with Mr. Beast is like I know that a lot of times it seems like it's out of the kindness of his heart, and it might be. But if you ain't got the money for the taxes and that stuff, man, you're kind of screwed, you know? Sadly. They met their deductibles. Hey, I need to go get my plastic surgery right now. I need to get my butt implants. I want that Nicki Minaj booty. You know, I got to get me that Nicki Minaj booty. Either that or I'm going for the Ice Spice. I'm not sure which one yet, but Ice Spice got them cheeks. I think I could pull the Ice Spice. Boys like that, right? The Ice Spice. I think they do. No, I didn't know. I'm an idiot, Jane. I had no idea. Yeah. I was like, oh, they just get all this free shit. Cool, man. And like when I figured that out, I was like, oh, damn, that sucks. I had no idea. I had no clue. The thing is, you gotta understand, I'm semi-illiterate when it comes to damn finance. I don't know anything. I don't know about taxes. This is why I gotta hire a dude every year to do my taxes because I don't know half of that shit. It's not like my it's not like my parents sat me down and like, hey, take this tax course. I grew up around people that didn't know how to manage money, dude. It took a long time, and even now I'm terrible at it. That's why I'm gonna take me a tax course next semester, so I can learn how to prepare taxes, what I can get away with, and all this other stuff. And in case I want some extra cash, I can prepare someone else's taxes for them. If they have questions, I can answer them. This is for my family. That's why I'm doing that. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to law school was to figure all that out as well. Get them juicy cheeks, yeah. You best believe, lady. Yeah, that's why it's always funny. Like, and this is kind of off topic, and some people get offended when I'm gonna say this, but it's true. They're like, "School is free," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm paying taxes. School ain't free." This is why I put my daughter in private school, man. I'm already paid for school because of taxes. Might as well put her in a private school so that I know what she's learning. You know what I mean? It is pouring outside. If we lose connection, I'm sorry, guys. Not my doing. That's the knee mobility. I'm doing well. Doc recheck next week. Probably all good there. Not quite 100%. 80% recovery. Tibia fracture. Knee getting better. Back getting worse. Your back's getting worse. How? From the way that you sit and like the way you move to compensate for the knee, or what? Or is it just a pre-existing condition? Taxation is theft, dude. We all know that, bro. They're not gonna change nothing by saying that. All these dudes get in there with their little, like, you know, the little hobby horse they're trying to get on top. The little soapbox. I'm gonna change the American government. Taxation's theft. Ain't gonna happen, bro. Ain't gonna happen. Keep dreaming. All right, man. Have a good one, Caleb. Take it easy, man. The thing that scares me, and I'm gonna stop talking about it after this. The thing that scares me about public school systems, okay? This is what scares me about the public school system, okay? Like I was saying here specifically in Tucson, right? TUSD. They get their funding from the government, okay? The problem isn't the fact that they get the funding from the government. That's part of it, okay? My fear is because of the donations of the people that get involved and stick their fingers in the school system. And this is what I mean is that TUSD has a notorious history for embezzling cash. They fired one of the presidents of the school district because of the embezzlement going on in the local government here. Okay? And what it is that, for instance, if somebody decides that they believe this should be on the curriculum and they pay enough cash, they shoot them some money, there are regulatory hurdles they have to go over, but they can go over those with lobbying. So, like, let's say a psychopath decides they want to teach the kids really terrible things, and they give them enough cash, and there's a reason behind it, maybe like a psyop or whatever crazy shit you might want to believe, and they get away with it because they paid them enough money to get away with it. So that's why, like I sent my daughter to private school, bro. I had a bad experience in public school. I ain't doing all that again. I ain't letting her go through that. You know what I mean? Pain and pinch, L4-5, scoliosis, underlying, radiating, and lower leg. Oh, okay. That's messing up your nerves and stuff, right? I agree, Eric. Yeah, me too, Jane. I am. It's expensive. It was the first year cost me $5,500 just to have her go. But after that, we got funding from the federal government so that she could go without me having to pay directly. Obviously, I still pay taxes, so technically I'm still paying. But you know what I mean. That's kind of the thing. Is the trade off. It's a trade off. I paid my dues. Yeah, because she goes to a secular school. It's not a religious based. I didn't want her to have to be forced. I want her to make her own decisions. I want her to make her own decisions on the spiritual side of herself. I don't want to force her to believe anything or anything like that. But at the same time, I want her to get a really good education. So that's why I found this school. And it's crazy. I found this school, and then like a few months later, they called it the best school in America. It actually got rated as the best school in America, in the United States. So I was grateful for that. I was glad I put her in it after that point because it makes sense to me now. It was a sign, baby. You know, it was a sign. You mentioned open world games. Did you see Metroid Prime 4 as an open? I haven't played a single Metroid game. What's up, Danny? Welcome. But I didn't know it was an open world game. That's kind of cool, dude. It's 2D drop top down. I mean, side scroller like the other ones. That's a pretty interesting concept for an open world. Reminds me of Zelda 2 a little bit, but it's pretty neat, dude. Pretty neat. You ever play Zelda 2? Anybody in chat? Basically college prep, right? From preschool, exactly. Yeah, because they're doing these tests. Oh, first person. That's badass, dude. That's badass. That sounds really fun, Eric. That sounds like a good game, man. Let me know how it is, dude. Is it on Switch? Is that where it's coming out, or is it all on all platforms? Zelda 2 on NES. Side-scrolling game. It's kind of different from the first one. It's not top-down completely. Yeah, the hard one. Exactly, dude. Yeah, because what it was is, so I got this. I got her grades. She's got straight A's. This kid's got straight A's. Okay, she loves homework. When she doesn't have homework, she makes her own homework. That's how she is. She's very, very specific about things. But then they started going over warning stuff because she's got straight A's. She's in first grade. The reason why she's got warning stuff on her report card. Get this. This is the reason why she has warning stuff on her report card. Because by the end of first grade, she tests at the federal third grade level for reading and writing and math. That's the reason why she's at a warning. And the teacher assured me that she'll be at that level before she finishes the first grade. They give them the federal testing for being third grade in first grade at this school, dude. That's how ridiculous it is. They're expected to pass it. Comes out Switch 2 December. That's pretty cool, man. I'm getting me a Switch 2, but it's only for Duskbloods. To me, that's normal. For book smart kids, that's normal, yeah. But see, that's the thing that's crazy. Is everybody in her class is like that. And when I grew up, when I went to elementary school, that wasn't normal. Like I told you, I grew up in a fundamentally fractured concept of what education should be. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, that's like French. I'm not used to that, which I'm grateful that I'm not in that situation with her. You know what I mean? I don't want her to go through what I went through, learning basically how to teach yourself. You know? I just think it's funny because, like, on the summertime, she had this packet that is intended for kids that didn't pass the semester, and she was doing it for fun because she already passed the semester, and then she ran out of paperwork to do, and she was bored. So what she did was she started writing her own math problems down so that she could finish homework when she didn't have homework to do. I was like, damn, kid. And I know I'm talking a lot about my daughter. I'm very proud of her, okay? It might annoy some people, but I'm very proud of this kid, man. She's awesome. I love my daughter. One public education standards are so bad, skewed because including all intelligence levels, including kids who had no head start. You mean by the program Head Start? Yeah, that's not a bad idea because she is learning Mandarin. She did express her interest in learning like what's it called, Spanish. I can teach her some Spanish, but she wants to learn like Arabic or something like that. I'll have to like kind of look into Rosetta Stone stuff like that because I know she wants to learn multiple languages. So yeah, I mean, I might as well try to. I mean, they have like memberships and stuff, I'm sure, and like discounts and all that. So this sounds mean, but that No Child Left Behind, well intentioned, hurt the bright kids. It's just left. That I agree. I agree with you completely. It's true, and you know what's funny is there's something I would have been afraid to mention on stream before, but I totally agree with you there. That's insane. No, I agree with you. We only have 8 more arrows here. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but I don't like it. Yeah, because we'll be like, she went to a Chinese restaurant, started talking to the lady in Mandarin. You know, all right, like, dude, damn. She's like, how old's your daughter? I'm like 6. She's like, she knows Mandarin. Does she have, is she Mandarin? Does she have Chinese, in her blood? I'm like, no. She learned at school, man. Like, damn, damn. Okay, sorry about that. I was coughing up my lungs. I didn't have Head Start program per se, but my mom was a teacher, so I definitely got into school with better habits than most. That's good, man. That's a good thing, Danny. I was literally about to say this. It also pushed kids along that didn't understand materials, had some higher difficulty. Like, how are you gonna? No, I understand that one. Yeah, especially kids that have disabilities already, like learning disabilities. Probably not the right way to say it according to culture or whatever, but there are people that have like impairments, like ADD and shit like that. And like, I'm not saying everybody that has a problem has ADD, but you know what I mean. There's people that have problems reading, problems understanding, comprehending certain numbers and all this other stuff, and throwing them in an advanced class definitely will not help them to learn better. So, and the word better obviously shouldn't have been used, but you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's true. I agree. Definitely hurt a lot of folks in that sense. Is Mandarin spoken by most people in the world? I think it's supposed to be one of the most popular languages in the world. That and Arabic, I know for a fact, are probably the most spoken next to Spanish. So if she learns like Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin, whatever, then she learns, she knows English already. So it'll help her to kind of understand other languages and dialects if she chooses to learn them. Because like the intonations in Asian languages they're very different from that of like a Latin-based, French-based language. A lot of it carries over based on tone. So her having that like good bridge, like the good foundation to understand other languages will also help her to understand language she hasn't spoken yet. You know. Yeah, hit all. Yeah, exactly. Hit all the continents, basically. Yeah, correct. Spanish is widely spoken. Arabic's widely spoken, and Chinese is definitely widely spoken. English, of course, in the European countries and stuff. So, ILP things in public schools, USA are a joke. Hit all continents. Also, people learn differently. Like, I'm a visual, hands on learner. If you sit there and lecture, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I understand that. I'm better at reading. Yeah, I can do the mnemonic thing slightly, but not as well as like a hands on too. I do hands on and reading better than I do like the verbal. The verbal, I'm kind of like, what? You know? No learning disabilities is a thing. Literally went to school with kids that had dyslexic, dysgraphic, Asperger's, OCD. Except exactly, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then putting them in an advanced class ain't gonna help their confidence, man. You know, that's gonna screw it up worse. You know, it's definitely not something you want to be doing with people like that. And it'll make it harder for them to come out of their shell and try to learn, you know, because everybody has a different way of learning. It doesn't mean they can't learn. It just means there's a different approach to it, you know? It's fucked up. Teach your children well. That's all the more I'll say about it. It's fine. That's good enough. We should change the subject. I agree with you. What about AI video games? Anybody interested in this concept? I know it's kind of weird, man, but it's gonna happen. You know that, right? We're gonna get full on video games designed by artificial intelligence at some point. All right, but the thing that kind of irks me a little bit is some people see this as a kind of a bad thing in a sense, and I can see why that is, right? But what about using AI tools to develop video games? You know what I mean? Like if we're talking about open worlds and transitioning like elements within the world itself, utilizing AI to develop different situations like NPC dialogue, quest lines, enemy placement. You know what I mean? Specifically video game development is what we're talking about. We're not talking about AIs in schools, man. We're done talking about school system stuff. We were just talking about advanced classes, private school stuff like that. We weren't talking about AI in schools or anything like that. I'm talking about video games, man, video games specifically. Hmm. I could have had a higher GPA in high school, but between not being challenged, and puberty, good grades weren't high priority. Yeah, that's understandable. They weren't for me either, man. I'm fine, pro. How's it going, man? Other a wise man said AI will do heavy lifting for a video game and will follow someone who creates the best stories. Gets AI to program it. I think it'd be an interesting concept. And what I mean by this is like we were talking about like Chalice Dungeons, for instance, right? And Bloodborne. Like if you were gonna create an open world sandbox style game that had kind of the same premise as like Bloodborne, when it comes to the Chalice Dungeons, right? And have the RNG, because this is kind of the thing, like single computing is hard for computers to pull specifically when it comes to numbers in the system. Okay, and that's why most of it utilizes like binary. Okay, but if they found a way to manipulate like just specifically the the missions, the AI dialogue, the overall conditions of a specific mission, and to develop just RNG based on that to change certain elements within an open world game, you could basically create a game that could go on forever. Okay, would it be as meaningful as like I don't know a hardwired story mission that would go on in the game? No, but you could continue to process through the game for an unlimited amount of time. And that's why I say I think it's an interesting concept to just kind of not write off AI as part of developing game systems for people to play. I think it's an interesting concept. New Silent Hill is legitimately terrifying. I'm legit scared to play it again. Love it. Heavy emotions. Yeah, I agree, man. I was watching Distortion play it. It looks pretty good. I just don't want to spend the money on it. That's mostly what it is. I'm being greedy. That's pretty much it. I'm just being greedy, dude. You know, I'm pretty sure it's good. I watched him play all the way through the whole game, and it looks pretty good. Sounds like Zoom art. Same goes with strategy. Will happen for movies. Follow a person. It provides SFX. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. The thing is, the coherencies need to change though. They need to become more coherent. That's the thing about AI is it's not very coherent. Like it's gotten better. Don't get me wrong. It's leaps and bounds above where it was, but it's definitely not as coherent as it can be. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the thing too. Like with the modifications for graphics. I'll send you my. It sounds good, Eric. I'll play it afterwards, man. No problem. Definitely, if you send me it, I'll definitely play it. But what I'm saying is like, okay, so rendering, right? Let's talk about the hardware implications here for artificial intelligence. Okay, we've already got image, upgrades based on AI systems. You can take an AI system and basically upgrade any kind of image, any kind of video, to a higher degree graphically. Okay. So what I'm thinking here is that the next component in the hardware revolution when it comes to AI specifically is that you'll be able to use the minimum amount of hardware to carry an AI that can actually produce a higher visual standard. Does that make sense? Like for instance, you get a bare bones computer at this current position in technological history. Okay, like any kind of basic, I don't know, modern computer. Okay, and you outfit it with an AI that does all the rendering from within its own systems in the software. Okay, elevating the graphics, and the overall like aesthetics of the game. So let's say you could plug like an old game into it, like put Castlevania Symphony of the Night in it, right? And then have the AI render it in a modern way with a modern gameplay style versus you having to format hardware to create a new experience. All you would have to do is elevate the hardware to carry the new version of the artificial intelligence that would be coupling with the hardware itself to create a new experience. Yeah, it's not, you're not wrong, but that's what I mean. Consistency is the problem. You know what I mean? And also utilizing the tool and the proper source of using the tool is not necessarily the AI's problem. It's the manufacturer, the person producing whatever it is they're producing. It's their fault. You know what I mean? The tool is as powerful as it's going to be at this point. but it doesn't mean it's always going to be just this powerful either. It's the people that actually utilize the tools to make something out of it. Yeah, but that's why I said hardware advances. You know what I mean? That's why I said the future of graphics isn't going to be based on hardware. That's going to be based on AI, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, having like these remastered versions of video games isn't going to be as difficult as it was at one point. Because you can get the bare minimum version of the game, and AI can render it in a higher degree. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. Uniformity is the problem. That's the only thing you'd have to overcome is having the same experience. But maybe the thing is that sometimes you don't necessarily need to have the same experience for each playthrough for every person playing the game. You know what I mean? But it just depends on what you're using the software and the hardware for. I think the components are going to go together. They're going to couple in some way, which would make it sense. Would make sense to me to do it that way. It's like having a very powerful tool and just deciding not to use it. You know, it wouldn't make sense. It's like the samurai deciding they're never going to use guns because, you know, the Westerners use guns, and that did happen. And of course, what happened to them? You know what I mean? A lot of times you have to kind of accept the fact that the tool exists, and the ones that are using it are your enemies. I mean, I know that some people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. You know, the tools that you may not like that do exist already, fundamentally, maybe something you do not enjoy them even existing in the first place. But the ones that embrace those things may be the people you don't like, the people that don't like you even. So sometimes it's kind of worth and to your benefit to learn how to work with those things so that you're not left behind. What is it Arnold said? You know, like while you're out there partying, having a good time, somebody's in the gym working, getting better at the things you want to get better at. And it's kind of the truth. That's basically how it works, man. You know? Yeah, but I think, like I said, that's the thing about it. What I'm sensing isn't the fact that you are talking about specifically the texture in a video game. I sense an apprehension of you utilizing AI at all. You sound like you don't like AI, and that's perfectly sound. And if you don't like AI, that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to say that. But I think there's a valuable use for AI in general that isn't just, you know, graphics per se. And that's why we can agree to disagree on whether or not it's useful or dangerous. Or even both useful and dangerous. Because civil discourse is the best, most important thing in this world, guys. Remember that. It's the most important way to have a discussion. Civil discourse. When you initially asked about AI game, it said F no. I thought you meant the game. You know, I don't think that's possible. That's giving it too much credit. It's more like a hammer, dude. You know, that's kind of the people view it as some kind of like I don't know conscious being. You know, yeah, it's just kind of like a hammer, dude. You know, a hammer can't build the house without somebody using the hammer. You know what I mean? It's kind of just how I feel. Like people have this like I don't know perception of it because of James Cameron and fucking the Matrix films. You know, it's weird. No, I love AI. It's a very valuable tool. Accelerate development of humanity. Also generate generation of goon cave develop. I don't. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one. AI made game. I think it depends on whose hands it's on, whether it's helpful. Exactly what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's true. I agree with you. It's true. Well, it's like there's a movie, right? And it's kind of a lame ass movie. Don't get me wrong, okay? Live Free or Die Hard. Okay, lame. It's a lame movie. Don't get me wrong. I know it's cheese. It's crap. It's not great compared to the other Die Hard movies. It's not as good. I understand, you know. But if you think about the meaning of that movie, right? Basically, there was a group of people that decided that they wanted to overthrow, right? And do these things so that they can make money and pretend it was some kind of attack when it really wasn't, which is the traditional. You know what I mean? Well, it's plus 10, Oswaldo. That's why. Um, so what they do is they do a fire sale, right? So it's a hacker fire sale. If you're not familiar with this concept, basically what happens is they shut down all the major utilities, okay, within the northern United States, okay, like water, gas, electricity, all this stuff, so that it can basically hold the United States hostage, okay. And this is what I'm talking about, the future of technology, okay, because we talk about this stuff a lot of the time, and I explain some stuff that I don't agree with, like specifically infrastructure. Okay, I've talked about this in the past. I'm not a fan of infrastructure the way it's set up. Okay, the reason why I say this is because okay, there's Tucson Electric, there's Tucson Water and Power and all this stuff, right? Tucson Water has the same website it's had for the last 30 years, 20 to 30 years. You can't physically pay the bill like you would a normal bill, like if you had PayPal or whatever, if you went to Amazon, any of that. It doesn't have a normal checkout. Okay? The computers running Tucson Electric and Tucson Water are 30 years old, bro. 30 years old. Think about it. Okay? It's not heavily guarded, it's not protected. If you walked in there and did whatever you want, we're going to do, you could shut down the main city's power and fucking water supply without any kind of hesitation. Really, it's not guarded or anything. And when I say this stuff, infrastructure, when I'm talking about this, like electricity wise, right? We live in a nation where the electricity grid, the electric grid, was built almost 200 years ago. The water pipes, the old cast iron water pipes, were built 200 years ago. New York City's falling apart. You know what I mean? LA's falling apart. But they have all these initiatives within the federal government to go and like, we're gonna start, annexing this, and you have to use an electric car and blah 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 blah. Technology, AI. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough electricity to run AI. We don't have enough electricity to run purely electric cars within the United States. Okay? And I'm not saying running electricity is bad. You should be able to do it, but you have to start at the foundation, man. You're not starting at the foundation. There's going to be a lot of problems here. And that's what I'm talking about. There's no initiatives to try to revamp the infrastructure of society. Doesn't exist. And that's the fundamental thing. That's a fundamental thing if you're building upon technology. You know what I mean? You have to fundamentally create something that can handle it. And so I'll refer back to this movie I was talking about, okay? This is the reason why these guys could pull this, because these systems are older than shit. They've been around since the 1970s almost. Using the same technology they've been using since the 1970s. And you're going to tell me that, with this new inception of AI and stuff, there isn't a way to kind of like, I don't know, up our own physical technological needs because of it? They're so heavily influenced on what's happening in modern technology, they don't think about, the infrastructure of the nation. It's just kind of terrifying to me. It's scary. And if anything, that would be the downfall of the Western civilization, is building over things instead of, trying to create a stable infrastructure. At least in my opinion, it would, because it's so easy to affect and attack and destroy. You know, like it's so easy to do all that. The thought process isn't even involved in any of that. It's just weird, man. You know. I'm gonna stop talking about it though. But yeah, it's just weird. Cheesy ass movie though. That's what I'm saying. That movie's dumb. But I mean, it's not far fetched. Yeah, Dallas. Exactly what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about the paperwork mine. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, dude. Well, fucking Flintstones retirement fund for the federal government. You know, like, come on, bro. Like, really? For real? That's the best you can do? All right, so what I'm doing right now, Danny, is I have to farm 30 humanity, and I have to farm 30 of these Eyes of Death because I have two things I have to do here. So right now I'm currently at 18 Eyes of Death, right? And I have, let's see how much humanity. 8 humanity plus the 9 I have. The reason why this is because I have to go and I have to go to Quelaag and I have to get all the spells from Quelaag. In order to do so, I have to have 30 humanity. In order to get the miracle that I need in order for the achievement from Nito, I have to have 30 Eyes of Death. That's the reason why. That's why we're down here. It's not for souls. It's basically because we have to for accomplishment in the game. Because it's 100% achievements. That's why. Yeah, I thought that was funny when I heard about it. I was like, dude, that's fucking sad, bro. Like, what the fuck? Why a cave, bro? It's like, you know, buying a brand new truck and stuff, and you live in a goddamn shanty. It doesn't make any sense, dude. It just doesn't make, spending wise, doesn't make sense to me. Meet the Flintstones, the prehistoric family in the town of Bedrock. 10-year anniversary. Yep, that'll be it. Be the end of the end of the gaming experience for Forlorn Night. It's fucking good times though. I've had great times, dude. Like, we're gonna have a lot of good times still. Don't worry, we're still gonna have lots of good stuff. Planning out some marathons and all that stuff. You know, it'll be good times. Meet the Flintstones. They're off the table. I explained this last time. I'll explain it to you. We're doing 500 deathless runs. I'm stopping there. I had an experience like 3 weeks ago that changed my life, bro. So Like for me, this is like secondary at this point. Like I love my community. I always come back. I'll always hang out. I'll always have a good time with you guys. But my life has changed. My goals, everything about my life is basically different for me now. So 1,000 ain't where it's at anymore. I have other things, other goals that I'm gonna accomplish at this point that have nothing to do with streaming. That's kind of how it goes. Like it's we're here. We're gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy my time with you guys, and then afterwards, I'm gonna dip. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? That's kind of it's just the vibe there. Unfortunate is maybe it's the truth. I mean, you can't stream forever. Like obviously, a lot of people still try to hold on to it, but it's not possible. Yeah, but we're at the highest level of discovery, Danny, because you can't go above where we're at right now, 404. The reason why that is because it caps at 404. The reason why we have 404 though is because we have 9 humanity. 9 is the highest you can have to actually have discoverable stuff. The mask doesn't help because once you're at 404, it doesn't help you. And then the covetous gold serpent ring is the best you can have for this. So we're basically at the highest form of discovery. It's still much easier than Dark Souls 2 though, because of that reason. Dark Souls 2 is rough, dude. Like it's that platinum trophy no death run was a goddamn nightmare. We finished it, thank God, but it was a goddamn nightmare nonetheless. Yeah, because you figure, because a lot of people will come in here like, hey, use the mimic mask, hey, do this, or hey, use a coin. And in theory, it would make sense, but since I've done this run like twice already, it just doesn't change anything, unfortunately. The one I'm kind of worried about is running Dark Souls 3, though. That's what I'm kind of worried about, because I heard it's pretty difficult to get all the stuff farmed out. Plus, I think you need all the rings and stuff, and kind of just makes it more messy. You only need 6 more Eyes of Death. I have to go pee real quick. I'll be right back. No, so what's up? Hey, Chrissy, how you doing? Juicy, how you doing, lady? Sorry for that. Send you $1 million. I appreciate it. If I had $1 million, I'd send you $1 million, beautiful. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you, lady. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well as well. Been a while. I should visit your stream. Are you streaming on any other platform? Like, do you prefer, like, have you done Twitch or no? Are you on Twitch right now or no, girl? No, so like backseat gaming is a very specific thing, man. You understand this? Cause like it's nothing to do with like if you're asking a question or like what would be more, like for instance, like I'm farming these guys, right, for the stuff I told you about. Okay, if you were to come in here and be like, this is a better way to get these souls, that's kind of backseat gaming. But you asked me what I was doing. That's not backseat gaming. Okay, asking if there's a way to get more discoverability isn't backseat gaming. You know what I mean? So like anything you were doing wasn't backseat gaming. On Twitch, yes. Is it juicy? Is it still juicy or is it something else? Drop a link. I'm gonna follow you on Twitch. Cause I don't get Facebook notifications anymore, lady. It's rough on Facebook. Yeah, because I think one of the real reasons why I got bitter with Sekiro when I first started playing it wasn't even the fact that the game wasn't a Souls like game. Like it's not a bad game. I like the game. I had fun with it when I played it. I got used to it. I played it the wrong way the first time I played it. I didn't play it properly the way the game was intended to be played, and I kind of just got pissed off about it somewhat until I gave up and decided to play the game the way it was intended to be played. Because the game isn't a Soulsborne game, like I said. It's definitely something different. So you kind of have to go in there with the mentality like you're not playing a Souls-like game, So I did all that. All right, but I always got to do the fundamental thing when I play the game, which is play it with the base. What I mean by this is that the base gameplay style. Okay, I'm not gonna go in there with some special build or do some special stuff. I'm gonna just use what's available to me in the game. I use the sword and parry, and that's pretty much it. No skills, no prosthetics. That's how I beat it the first time. No skills, no prosthetics. And what I'm saying here is that that's how I play the game when I first learn a game. And then I add on to that repertoire after I've played the game a few times. It's usually how I do it. And I had a group of people that were coming in trying to like tell me you need to be using this weapon art. You need to be using this prosthetic. You need to be, you know what I mean? Like using this candy and using this. And that kind of really just put me off of the community just straight away, dude. You know what I mean? Because there's a way that I learned how to play a game and I paid for the game myself for me to play it. That's different than like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, there's a better way to do this. It's better than that. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Somebody that just playing through for the first time, basically. So it gave me a bitter taste for the community, the Sekiro community specifically, which hasn't really gone away because if anything, it's gotten worse. And I'm not saying that Sekiro community is toxic, but if you've been in the Sekiro community, it's kind of toxic. A lot of farming, man, I'm telling you. Anybody on Facebook still or no? Did I get kicked off Facebook? Ooh. Get a phone call, hold on. You're still here? Okay. Sorry, I was on the phone. And I was coughing. But can't believe we ran through all those arrows already, man. Insane. All right, how many do I need left? 3. Three, 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 three. Need to buy more arrows. I think I'm gonna get off soon though. Next week we're gonna start kind of like doing some other stuff. I want to finish this run, but I think I need to take a break from doing this type of run for a while. We'll just do some basic stuff, probably have some fun. You know what I mean? It's been a while since we had fun. We haven't played any mods or anything recently, so I can see what works. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna head out, man. I already did my 2 hours for the day. I'm still getting over my illness. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate each and every single one of you very much. I really do appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time.